Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going through a few more of my personal pickups for the month of June into early July 2024. And this was the stuff that I couldn't quite fit in the last video because we had so much to process. So anyway, sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so this time round we've got some French second series Penguin paperbacks to do. We've got Puffin picture books, which we've got to do. Early Puffin newsletters, some Penguin Collectors Society newsletters, rather, some Puffin Post. And we've also got the rather interesting sort of the Things We See series and the related ones from that as well, which are quite unusual. A few Penguin modern painters as well. So quite a varied batch, but I was completely out of time yesterday. The video that we had of my other pickups was pretty extensive, and that ran to 2.5 hours time it got edited. And if you can believe it, I actually did trim a tiny little bit of that out because some of the books took quite a bit of time to clean. So I sort of edited that, which I will do the same here again today. But with what we've got here today, I would hope, I don't know, but I'd hope that we can get it done in not much longer than an hour, but we'll see how we get on. But as I said, these were the bits that couldn't quite make it into the last video. It would have just made it like over 4 hours or something like that, and that would have been too long. So this is series 2 of the French ones, and this was the one I actually had, and I've actually brought my copy down from my collection. So, and then I'm going to hopefully be able to put a full run together of these, because I think there's a full run, I'm hoping, plus a few extras as well. I'm just wondering if they're actually numbered anywhere. I shall need to investigate. Of course, it's ironic that, yeah, that's the number, the V number on the back. It's ironic that Alan, whose collection this was, actually resided and is still living in France himself. So you would assume that he had plenty of opportunity to get French ones. But so far, these have all got locations in the UK, like this one, 3rd of January 74, Cheltenham. And these came out in just after the Second World War in France. There was a range of 6 that came out during the war, and then these were published after the war. It's a very thin one, isn't it? And I'm thinking that the different colours, like this is blue and that one there is red, represent different sort of genres, I'm guessing. A bit like the normal Penguin books, but I'm not 100% sure, but they must do. Anthologie de Jean Jaurès. 12th of August, 74, London. Now what I'll do, just so it doesn't get a bit too boring, I'm going to mix these up. So we'll do like the first quarter of these French ones, approximately. And then we'll go on and do some Puffin picture books. So I have, as time allowed, been able to try and do like a box or a series per day of the books from the collection. But a lot of them are being processed and put through, and then I'm just comparing them against my own copies, rather than what we're seeing today, where pretty much all of it I haven't got. Some of it I have, you know, like I've got odd ones in the Things We See series, and I had an odd one of this. But like on the Puffin picture books, I think the ones I pulled out, I only pulled out the ones that I didn't have, to the best of my knowledge, rather than taking them all. So that will definitely have some spares at some point. Now, this is a big thick one. I think this is pretty much the thickest one of all. Got a bit of a big crease on the back cover. So we need to rub carefully. There we are. 15p on the inside front jacket. Little tick down there of some sort. Right, we'll do a couple more and then we'll move on to something else. In all the time I've been collecting penguins, I've only ever come across one of these. I have seen them listed on dealer catalogues, but because they're sort of quite plain and nondescript, I didn't bother trying to track them down. But the opportunity to get them all in one foul swoop was definitely attractive. I think, off the top of my head, I think there's 18 in the set. And sets generally go, well, the last set I saw for sale was, I think, £60, so they're not expensive. You know, like £3 each, something like that. So we'll make this one the last one. Well, this was at least a title I actually recognise. Dangerous Liaisons. Interesting that they do have a British price on the back. 35 francs, but also 3 shillings and sixpence. So maybe these were potentially sold in the UK as like tools to learn French, for example, you know, or a way to read native French literature. I don't know. Yeah, those are okay. Now, the only other thing that these will need doing is the top edges will need a bit of a dust, and I think what we'll do them as we go along, just so we know what we've done and what we haven't. Obviously, they won't be polished in any way because the covers are like matte, so we can't polish these. And then all we'll really need to do at the end is sort them into a set, isn't it? Right, well, the next thing, looking over at the pile there, is the early Penguin Collectors Society magazines. Now, I was really pleased to get these. Now, I don't think there's going to be much in the way of actual cleaning to do on them, but if we just get them in order, these are just some of the other bits and pieces. So that was the very first one there, number 1. And to be honest, if there is anything inside them, I'll probably just leave it. Number 2, and that's got a list of members. What's this here? Ah, I see. Right, this is like an early received £1 for Alan's membership. This is very much the early days. The early days of the society. So we keep all that together, of course. So that was number 2. These early issues have just been reprinted literally this year. Number 3. And volume 2, number 1, which I guess is number 4. Volume 2, number 2, which is number 5. And volume 2, number 6. Number 2, no, volume 3, which is number 6. And after that, I had them all anyway, so that's pretty good. Now, this was also interesting, yeah, by Andrew Dolby. SF paperbacks of the 1960s. Now, I'm not sure if this is what he had, his own collection, or what, really. But I think it's going to be quite useful to have a look through this and see what's what. It does, of course, list all the Penguin ones. Penguin Science Fiction. But that's them. I mean, nothing really to clean on those. It's just they are what they are, aren't they? I had a couple of issues of Puffin Post. Now, these are quite fun, aren't they? These are the only two I've got. I've never really sort of pursued it like that, but I think they are quite fun. So I'll keep them just set. So I've got a couple of examples. There's one particular one I'm looking for a friend of mine. That one's got the crossword done, but I'll leave that. I mean, I don't even have any sort of saved search for them. It's the sort of thing I would pick up if like a load came my way in one hit, like a big pile of them. My kids were in the Puffin Club when they were young. Both of them. I remember getting little packs and little pencils and things like that, colouring sets, of which it's all been used. And then since we're in the Puffin mood, why don't we do the start of the Puffin picture books here? So we want to get all these in. So just slide that up. So this one's hardback, so I'm guessing we'll actually be able to polish that. It's got a laminated front, evidently a reprint. At least I'm guessing it would be, because a lot of these Puffin books got reprinted time and time again. In fact, some of them as much as 10 times. And there are people out there who try and collect all the different printings, because they're very slight. They do have slight variations. This one I think I have got, but in paperback. So this was this was quite nice to pick up in hardback. Now there is a guide to the Puffin picture books, and the ones that I've got, I have been through with that guide to hand, and I've worked out what printing they all were. So I've got a list of what I've got, which isn't massive. It's maybe 40 books, and we've probably got another 20 to 30 to do here. Some of them, I think that I've picked up, at least one of them is going to be an improver. So that's that one, and I think all I'd really do with this is just have it around like that. And I think what I'll do, because it's got a laminated cover, I will actually give this one a squirt with the old polish. It'll be one of the few books we can actually do that on. But I'm hopeful it will just pick up any historical dirt. I think it already picked up quite a bit of unseen muck. It's amazing when you start doing this how much dirt actually comes off. Because when you think this book is, over 70 years old, or at least 60, I'm not sure the exact date on this, but it's at least 60 years old. There we are, look, that was off the one book. Amazingly, but that's come out really nice. I'm pleased with that. That's great. Now, this one was an upgrade, so once again, I was very pleased to get this because it's one that I have already got, but it's an early one, The Battle of Britain, and the copy I've got is not perfect. It was actually given to me many years ago by a friend of mine called Joe Pearson, who runs the publishing house Design for Today. Joe helped me out when I was an early Penguin collector many years ago, and he knew this is one I was really after, and I'll just delicately go through. It's got little bits of, this one's got 3 shillings inside. Just make sure it's as clean as I can get it. Now, what I actually do with the Puffin picture books that I've got, they're all in Mylar sleeves, which are like comic book sleeves, because when you have these folded, that's about the same dimensions as a comic book, pretty similar to it. So I've got them in those sleeves. Yeah, this is fine. Don't expect to find any marks inside, but at the back, yeah, look, 16th of April, 74 in painting. Now this is going to be very delicate. Just go the one way. quite tough to get this off, in all honesty. I think that's probably as good as we're going to get. There we are. So really pleased to get such a key and iconic Puffin picture book, that one. That's a really, really nice one that I'm, really, really pleased to get. Now this is another one which is in hardback. It's a board book, but it's got Alan's telltale tape on. So what Alan would do, if a book had a split spine or something like that, he would put just a little bit of tape on. Now thankfully, because he did it so long ago, the tape is coming off quite easily, but it does leave a stain, and there's going to be no way around that. Sometimes you wonder why, what was the problem. Now with this one, I'm also gonna, while we're here, just do the edges like so. But yeah, I like the ones which are in board form. I really do, and this is where I can see the attraction of starting to put a run of them together. But one of the reasons I didn't really do it was because some of the subjects are a little bit dry, and also one of the big attractions with Puffin, for me always, was that I could read the stories to my children. And at the time when they were growing up, I was working for Waterstones, and we would have, contemporary picture books coming at us all the time. I was a buyer for Waterstones, so I used to get sent loads of stuff. And obviously all the kids' stuff went to my children, and we read it to them. So we didn't really have any shortage of children's books to read. We had all the latest stuff, let alone stuff which was, of a vintage nature, as it were. So consequently, we didn't read a lot of Puffin books. And consequently, once again, on the offshoot of that, I didn't really think, I must get them all, or try and fill in the gaps when they turned up on catalogues. I think, from what I've seen, the prices of these have started creeping up a little bit. Certain more common books you could generally pick up at about £3 each. Yet the base price for these now is more like a £5 each for nice condition ones. And I think probably in any sort of printing, I think for me, because there's so many printings of these books, I'd probably be happy just with having a copy of each one, rather than having to have them all in a first printing, simply because they're not a priority anymore. But they certainly are gorgeous books. I mean, they really, really are. There's a lot of scarce ones, the War on the Land, Sea and Air, plus the cutout books. There's about 8 of those in there, plus the baby Puffins. I haven't got any of those. They're porpoise, aren't they? I don't have any of them, but as I said, I've not really chased them, but potentially I might if I run out of stuff to collect. I really like that with the little Puffin in the little knot in the wood there, and that's lovely. Woodworking for children. As I said, I only picked up the ones off Alan, off Matt rather, from Alan's collection, that I didn't think I had to begin with. So this one's got another 3rd of April, so this seems very delicate, this one. So it's quite nice to have a change and not be doing 100 paperbacks at a time again. Although that's my very next video. I'm going to be doing Puffin's 100 to 200, of which thankfully I've pretty much got them all. There's only about 8 I was short of, so I'm hoping they'll be in there. I haven't checked all the numbers or anything like that, but hopefully they will be. And that'll be the first 200 Puffins all cleaned and ready for action. What I'm intending to do with the Puffins is anything that I've got doubles of, I'm just going to knock out at £2 a book. So if you're interested in any of those, Puffin storybooks that is, give me a shout. So that was fairly delicate, but it's okay. Let's do another one here, The Story of Tea. Oh, I love a cup of tea. In fact, I've got my coffee here. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Hold on. There we are. Yeah, these are really nice to see. Number 72. Because they're books I haven't got. You know, so they're ones I've never had a chance to look through. This one's got a few like ticks there, but they're in like a dark blue crayon, so I'm not going to be able to do much with that. This one's picked up down in Norwich in 1973. I said I've got really nice Mylar bags for these, and what I do, I put two in a Mylar bag back to back, and that seems to do the trick because they sort of support each other then. Yeah, very nice. So we'll do one more, and then we'll start doing some of the things we see. Now this one, Brer Rabbit, I think this might be a more expensive one, but as I said, I'm no expert on these. I only know they're like mega money ones. But I think this is one of the dearer ones. There's a little advert there for baby puffins. Now those are, I guess, some of the most scarcest of all, simply because they were designed for the very, very young, whereas these were just designed for the young. Yeah, baby puffin's half the size of this book, so this is all right, isn't it? It's a pretty nice condition, that one. I said no idea what printing it is, but in the book, which was done actually by Joe, he did the book of puffins, the history and their identification guide, which is fantastic, including amazing foreign releases, which are just astonishing to look at. But you know, you've got that book by the side of you, you can identify what's what there, which is ideal. Right, I think now we'll take a change of pace. So let me just make a little bit of room. Right, so this is Living in Cities. There's a few in this series. And I've got to admit, I've got a couple, and I've got more than that. I've got about 6. So there will be some doubles, that's for certain. But at the same time, I believe that there's some like variations and stuff. Now, I think this is probably going to be one of those series where I'm happy pretty much just to have one copy of the book. But at the same time, we'll see just how pronounced the variations really are, you know. I'm sure you've come across the Things We See series, and this is like the follow-up to it, which is like I think it's called Living in Cities, and they share the same sort of number. So I really haven't had a proper look through what's even in this pile, so there's going to be some new ones on me. Certainly I did not have these. Yeah, these are all brand new to me. So Living in Cities, yeah, 1942. Okay. Then we got The Anatomy of the Village. Yeah, Planning, Design and Art. I think that's the series that these come under. But I've got to admit, I'm no expert on these at all. 8p inside. I'm sure they're not too expensive. I think they turn up quite a bit. If you were to just jump on eBay with a list of the titles, you could probably find most of them without too much trouble. He's got these little names just in the corner. Quite tricky to get off. So as with all the Penguin collection that I've been processing through, obviously a lot of it is going to be doubled up. So if there's anything that you need, I'm receiving wants lists from collectors right around the world, some of which have already been filled and dealt with, you know, so that's good. 1946, that one. That's all right, isn't it? The Anatomy of a Village. Seems to be the same series, Homes by the Million. And these are, well, they're sort of like Puffin book format, aren't they? Just for adults. Yeah, here we are, the Things We See series. So it's all part of that. And there may even be doubles of some of these. I honestly have no idea. But that one hasn't, it's just got a little 1 and 3 in the top there. Seagulls are out this Sunday morning. And what we do, once we got a few of these, because they're all uniform size, it's a little bit dusty. I can just see some pencil on the front here. I'll give them a brush. And I think we ought to do that with the puffins as well, that wedge of puffins that we just did. So I think what I'll do, I've got the puffins just here still. Just in case there was a little bit. There we are, so that's them done. And we'll do those in a minute. So this is another one, Building Modern Sweden. It's got 10p on the top here. Yeah, here we are. The Englishman Builds E32. Navigator Homes by the Million. There we are. So these were all part of that series. And I suppose once I've lit the main series, which I'm very, very close to doing now, these will be the sorts of things I'll start to move on to. Far less demand when a decent catalogue comes through, far less competition rather to pick up this sort of stuff than the main series. Now this one is just coming away, so we're going to take off the 10p, and I'm going to put some glue back on this one because the glue, as you can see, it's just coming away. It's not away completely. It's coming away a bit, so let's see if we can dab some glue on there. It's going to come out. Haven't used it in a day or so, so it always plays a bit hard to get first time round. Here we go. There we are, so just give that a bit of a rub for a minute. A little running repair. Lovely. Slide that up there. Another one, this is a slightly, so this is Penguin Modern Painters. This is a completely different series. In a dust wrapper, which is heavily, heavily taped. So it looks like there are a few Penguin Modern Painters here. Let's just I think probably best take the dust wrapper off completely and see what we're left to play with here. I mean, it's not gonna be great, but it may be a case of, like a lot of Alan's other books, it literally just crumbles off in your hand. It does seem to be the case, doesn't it? I don't know. I think there are some variations on these. See, that's playing much more stubborn. There are some variations with these where I think they exist with and without dust wrappers. There's like first and second issues, something like that with the Penguin Modern Painters. Once again, I think I'd probably be okay just to have a copy of each, to be honest, but, you know, an example of each one. But if they were to come my way, of course. Yeah, these aren't coming off quite as easily. I wonder if this bottom one will come off, because this was a huge slip. Yeah. Look at the mess it's made. Well, I think the lesson we can all learn is sellotape is bad. Literally bits of it falling off at every opportunity. Well, I think all bar this top bit up here, this is the only bit we've not been able to get off. And that seems to be... There we are, we got it. Well, that's all the tape off, I think. Yeah. I know there's some on the inside here. Don't think that's going to go anywhere. Yeah, we got it all off by one little bit. But the actual book itself is pretty nice. Look at that. That's quite a nice one, that. It needs some glue in by the look of it. So let's see. On the dust wrapper, we'll just take this one off. The rubber's getting a lot of action lately. So this one may as well stay in the collection as a filler, I guess, since it does have its original wrapper, even if it's not in the best of conditions. Right, so this one's fine, except we've got to get some glue in there, because once again, look at that, it's come away completely. So this will be an easy fix. We just put a nice row of glue down there, and as you know, if you've been watching these videos, I use Bookbinder's glue, which is this stuff, and there's a link to it in the description down below. And it's really nice because it dries clear. So I've been experimenting with it. I used to just be Pritt stick for my paper repairs, but this Bookbinder's glue actually does a bit better. It's more expensive. It's £8 a bottle, but the bottle is very big. It will last. Well, it's lasted me ages already. There we are. So we'll slide the dust wrapper back on. I mean, it looks better without it, doesn't it? But, you know, the dust wrapper is part of the story, particularly since it's illustrated as well. And as I said, I believe there's at least 2 different formats for the Penguin Modern Painters. But yeah, because of the tape, it doesn't look the most attractive book, but I don't think it's bad, let's put it that way, you know. So stand that up there. Now here's a more traditional, what I would call Penguin Modern Painters, because it's sideways on, which is a bit more like what a lot of them were. I think the ones that I've got are sideways on. This is another one which has come in a wrapper. Thankfully, Alan didn't feel the need to tape this one. Thank goodness. My favourite of all, 1955, my favourite of all of these is the one on Edward Baldwin, who I really like. Well, that's okay, isn't it? So that's all right. So slide that behind there. Now we've got another Modern Painters. Well, this is the artist at work. Is this Modern Painters? I'm assuming it is. Penguin Modern Painters. Yeah, it's got an E number. It has got one bit of tape on, so let's just see if we can, if that'll come off easily. And it has. Once again in a dust wrapper, which of course Alan has put the name on. Bristol, 1973. Yeah, the artist at work. Yeah, it's a nice series, this, the Penguin Modern Painters, I've got to say. It's not one I've actively tried to pursue, that's the only thing, you know. But I like it all the same. Now, that does appear to be all the Penguin Modern Painters that were in there, so... but this one's much bigger than normal, so I think we're just going to... I'm going to give these the brush. While we're here. There we are. So that's quite a good little spot there. And put them into the pile now. And I think, since we have to, we'll crack on with a few more of these. And we'll go around the circle again. Just so we're not doing the same thing each time. We'll have a bit of variety. Now this one's got tape on again, Alan's magic tape, which hopefully we'll be able to I see why he's put it on this one, because this book did have a particularly bad spine. So if I grab my screwdriver here, we actually want to get some glue into there. So glue that back down rather than tape it. This has actually got double tape. And we'll do the same thing down the end here. Obviously, if this is the only copy of this particular one, I'm going to want to keep it, so I want to get it looking as good as possible. Any of these that are doubles, and there will definitely be doubles, I shall be knocking out. I'm not going to put much on them, probably just a couple of pounds each on the French ones here that are doubled up, simply because I don't think there's massive demand for them, and it's certainly just completists only, I think. that's okay. Must keep these separate so that we make sure I clean the tops. Another one with some tape issues. And the actual sort of paper feels a bit like, it's like khaki, if that makes sense. It's there we are. I said we'll just do another half dozen of these. Le Retour de la Sainte. Not the Saint. A few little prices inside there of some sort. Yeah, looking at this, it does appear as if all of them were bought in the UK, and the fact that they had a UK price on the back, I suspect meant that potentially they were available. They may not have been widely stocked, but they would have definitely been available to order, probably direct from Penguin, so that's almost certainly why they've turned up. A bit of a bigger one. Picked up in 31st of March, 73, Andover. Look at this. Lots of, so 3 and 6 crossed out, then 2 shillings, then 12.5p. Over there it says 3, 3. What a mess, eh? What a mess. But that's another 5 of those. So we'll give them a brush now. And then we'll do some more puffins, I think. Good stuff. Right, we'll crack on with a few more puffins. This one's really nice. The Story of Ming. Got a little 9 in the corner here, but is that pencil? Yeah, it is. Yeah. 31st of July, 75, Raymond Wiley. Maybe that was a dealer, I don't know. Yeah, I've never actually looked through this one before. Only a story of a panda. I believe there is even a version of this in like Chinese or Tibetan or something like that. Yeah. Pretty nice, that one, I think. Insect Life. I'm picking up 2 at once. Insect Life, Arthur Smith. This one's got 60p on the front. So this is obviously a later purchase, I guess, for Alan. 1976. So, in Kingsbridge. So brilliant illustrations, aren't they? Gorgeous. When you think these were initially aimed at children, first published 1950, I mean, incredible really, aren't they? Mountain and moorland birds. Yep, no sign of where that one was purchased, but lovely all the same. About maps. Nice bright and vibrant one, that. Tiny piece missing from the inside cover. Once again, no actual names on that. Little 5p inside. Keep picking two up at a time. Pond and River Life. First of July 78, it says. Chippenham Camden, is that a place? I know Chippenham. I know Camden in London, so. Yeah, what a beautiful series this is, actually, now that I'm looking at them. I think it's got a little 9p on the front, or a 9 of something. Fish and Fishing, number 53. Picked up in Exeter. Yeah, these books are astonishingly beautiful, you've got to say. They really, really are. Absolutely gorgeous. English fashions. Top mess. Lovely. Right, I think we'll give these all the dust. Lovely. Okay, back to the things we see again. County of London plan. I think this is more part of the living in the cities. Never ever seen this one before. They're actually really quite interesting. Much more so than I thought. They're quite lavish productions as well, aren't they? This one's got like a fold-out map in there as well. 1945, look at that. It's lovely, in lovely condition as well. 35p paid for that. That's really nice. That's a nice item. The Englishman, what's this? Oh, it's a little booklet for the buildings of England, which is somehow managed to slip in here. So I have already got this little booklet. I think they used to put it inside books and stuff, so we'll slide that up there. Yeah, the Englishman builds. I'm sure I've got this one in hardback. I found a couple of these in boot sales, which I was really pleased about. Back in my early penguin collecting days, I thought, what are these? These are obviously penguin, but like I'd never come across them before. So that hasn't got any marks in it at all. It's just it is what it is. So I think what I'm going to do is just give that one a brush there now. And these little hardbacks that we've got coming up, some of which I see look like they're taped. So I think we'll give them the brush as we go along. God, what a mess. Right. So yeah, this one is taped. This is the Things We See number 7. Now I think these came in softback and hardback, but I don't think I've got this one. This one on gardens. So it's a shame that it's a slightly lower grade one. So it may be one that I need to upgrade. I haven't. I didn't dig out my Things We See collection before doing this, but I've got some, so I definitely will have some as doubles. Okay, so if there's any that you need, give me a shout. As I said, I know there's some weird sort of variations on these as well. See, this is actually in a dust wrapper. So that is what it's like underneath the wrapper there. Blimmin' heck. I'll keep it in its wrapper, but to be honest, it's probably much better without it. There's even got tape on the inside cover. I was going to say, it does look like it's come away. Get that little 2 and 6 out before we glue this back in place. But this was very much, I think you'll agree, a bit of a filler. It's been through the wars a little bit, this one. Number 7. I suppose it'd be all right like that, but when we put the pretty awful dust jacket back on it, it's not going to look great. As I said, I might have it. And I think this is a softback in wrapper, and I think they all came out in hardback as well, you know. I think that might be where the variations come, so I am going to need to do a bit of research on that and see what came in what. But yeah, certainly a little bit the worse for wear, this one. Sadly. but I don't think any of them are that expensive. When you see them, even in a really nice grade, they're only about £7 on a list, so they're not expensive. So that one we've cleaned, and that one was in hardback. That one still needs a brush. Right, now this is the same format for number 5, but in much, much better condition. I can't see any signs of tape on this, and I'm certain I've got this one in hardback. So I don't think I've got it in paperback. So maybe there are 2 series to sort of collect of these, or 2 versions, a bit like the Buildings of England have got hardback and paperback of some of the books. Yeah, that's slightly misprinted. So I fold that back over, and it's got the 2 and 6 has been loosely rubbed out and replaced with a 10p. Okay, so that's all right in that format. Now here's another one, same format, number 4, but it has a piece of tape on. So just the one bit of tape. No obvious dust wrapper. Look at that, another one that's come to bits. So we do often see it, I've said it time and again, where a particular series, all produced around the same time, all end up having not very good glue. They're all sort of printed around the same period. And the glue has evidently, over the last 80 years, perished, aged, and it's now in a bit of a state. Certainly on the paperback versions of these. Yeah, 1947. It's not exactly a spring chicken, is it? Alright, let's get that in there. Okay, that's number 4. This is number 4 again, but this is in a wrapper. It's softback. Now that's what they call the eye cover, and this is like the illustrated cover, but this is in a wrapper with the eye underneath. So what is what? I'm going to need to do my old research, I think. Obviously, I'd like to keep the ones in a wrapper. So I would suggest that that number 4 there is not going to be required unless it's a completely different printing or it's revised somehow. Plus, I may already have a number. In fact, I'm sure I've got a number 4 in hardback in my collection anyway. So yes, I'll need to dig them all out and try and figure out what on earth is going on. But thankfully, Penguin First Edition is the website, which is fantastic. I highly recommend it. That is your friend, and it's what I use regularly for finding out what is what, you know. Right, things we see number 3, furniture. This is also in a dust wrapper which has had one repair on it. So we'll get rid of this first of all. Took its time, but there we are. Stubborn bit of tape compared to most. There we are, we got it now. It's a reasonably nice copy. Right, let's give these a rub down. Top page is always the worst. Lovely. Right, now sadly, we need to crack on with a few more Frenchies. But we've still got more Puffin picture books to do, and we've still got a few more of those things we see, so we're not quite there yet. But you can see why I couldn't include this in my latest pickups video. It would have made it, as I said, about 4 hours long. And even I have to draw the lines sometimes, you know. And I think these, these are just something completely different. They're different shapes and sizes and unusual stuff. And as I said, I've never really, ever, I don't think, showed my Puffin picture books on the channel because it wasn't really much of a collection to show, you know what I mean? And just about 30 or 40 books. So now I feel I'm quite close to, well, not getting the set, but I've certainly got more than half of them now, which is at least something. I'm on my way, which is good. Another big thick one. Got a few turned over pages, this one. Okay. This is the one I had originally. Though this one appears to be better than my original one, which I did bring in before I knew I was going to be doing these. So I did actually bring my copy of this one in from the collection because I came across it. I think this is better than my own one. It does look like it needs a little bit of glue. This one's been taped, but the tape's been taken off. don't think it was me. Can't remember taking any off this one. It's a bit of a low grade copy, this one. Pages are all turned back. The very same book again, a much better copy. So yes, there definitely will be some spares of these. There we are. I'll give these a brush. And we can get ready to do the very final few books. Lovely. Right then, let's get these last few done. A few more Puffins, another gorgeous one here. Yeah, lovely. Got a little 15p on the top there. Mary had a little lamb. This is like the nursery rhyme, I guess, isn't it? Okay. Ah, yeah, this one was, this isn't actually a Puffin, it's a Harlequin. Big ink on there. So a bit of a rough specimen, you could say. Looks like the tape's going to just fall off. I like the Orlando books, but this one is evidently seen slightly better days. I've had a few over my time, and I've always got rid of them. I do sort of regret that now, because I had some real nice ones, but because they weren't Puffin, I didn't keep them. Oh, look at it. But I might keep this just as a little memento. Although it is, it is pretty bad. Pretty bad. I mean, no one's going to buy it. But if we get all the tape out, we may be onto something. God, blimey. Looks like this, I was going to say, it looks like there's tape on this side as well. Have you ever seen anything like it? God. Blimey neck. Ugh. Blimey. It's like every single page has been taped up. You couldn't make it out, could you? More tape here. Well, he did pay 10p for it. Alright, let's try that again then. So let's go through and make sure we got it all. I don't think we have. I think there's more to come. Oh, we got that bit. Got that bit. I think there's tape here, you know. No, we got that there. Yeah, there was one more bit. I thought there was. Look at that. Okay. I think we may have got it all now. The book is actually complete. Just that piece of the cover missing. And numerous tape removal marks. We got that one, didn't we? Yeah, there we are. Oh, blimey. But I think it looks a little bit better now. Now all the tape is gone. And I said I will keep that one as a penguin related or a puffin related title. I did not realise we were going to have such a battle with tape today, but looking at what we got ahead, I think that may have been it. That may have been the tape pinnacle of what we had left to do today. Although I could be wrong. Very, very nice to get so many puffins that I didn't have. Lovely. Pottery and it's making. This one had a previous owner's name inside as well. Lovely. Last few. Binding your own books. I bet this is going to be an interesting read. I shall enjoy this one. Looks like nice condition as well. Interesting they got a little pelican in there. But yeah, not a mark on that one. So that's really nice. Discovery of the Poles. Another one which looks in really nice bright condition. Beautiful. The Sky and Heavens. £20p. How very dare they? Oh. Last one. The last rather lovely Puffin picture book coming up. Birds of the S. Oh, look at this, by Tunnicliffe as well. What a beautiful artist he was. Look at the quality of this work. Amazing, eh? Absolutely amazing. When you think this was designed for children, I mean, this is just astonishingly good. Look at that. And that's not got a mark on it. So there we are. So that's all the Puffins. Puffin storybooks, picture books rather. And I'm even more impressed with them now than I was when I first flicked through, because that is some beautiful books there. Really, really beautiful. Right, so we've still got some things to see, but let's do another, see if we can do the last wedge of the French ones. Le Français. Okay. Maybe some glue in there, don't you? Glue's dried up. There we are. Bit of run and repair action. I wonder if these books turn up in France nowadays. I'd be quite curious to know. I mean, they're very old, but when I always go to France, there's always bookshops everywhere and people selling books on the street and what have you in markets. I think the French are still quite big readers. It's a pretty nice copy, that one. '27th of December, 73, Lichfield. It says dupe, which makes me suggest that even Alan knew that he already had a copy of this one. Dupe. This one's got a little bit of water damage on it, but it also says dupe on it. Yeah, that one's been water damaged a little. Last couple, or last one really, because the other one's already been done. So this one's a Highgate. MP. And this was my original one, which I'm going to get out of the bag simply because I'm going to want to compare everything when I go through these and get my set together. And I suspect that we've actually cleaned up a better one than that, so that's fine. So that's all the Puffins done, that's all the French ones done. It just leaves us with a small pile of 6 or 7 things we see with their variations. So we'll do those straight away. This is things we see number 2, houses. Which I'm pretty sure I've got this one. I think it was the later ones rather than the early ones. Oh, once again, these are going to need re-gluing. And while we're here, I'll just take those off. Inside he's okay. Ships. This one's in. This is still softback. Put softback in a wrapper. Yeah, nice condition, that one. For number 6. Bang the camera there, apologies. Houses, number 2. Or 2 and 6 tucked away underneath the dust wrapper. So, if you've enjoyed these cleaning videos, over on my dedicated cleaning channel, I have got many cleaning videos. I do one video a week. This is a hardback. I do one video a week over there where I clean vintage books, not just Penguin, but all other publishers from my collection. But obviously, there's a lot of Penguin over there, particularly at the moment. So I am working my way through the collection. As I'm doing it, I'm doing like now. I'm filming each step of the process, so that I've got a record for it. So if you like watching these cleaning videos, do please head over there. And check out my other channel. This is hardback again. This is exactly the same book, but this time in a dust wrapper. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time to go through these and see which ones are which and which ones have got the best wrappers and what have you. But that's evidently just a duplicate. Very dusty indeed. And then yet another copy of it. So it's 3. We're seeing things in triplicate. So yes, if you've enjoyed today's video, do please give it that thumbs up. If you've not already, do please hit the subscribe button. For regular book content, you've got to admit, we've been spoiling ourselves lately. So if you've enjoyed it, I appreciate the thumbs up. Do please subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Leave a comment if you've enjoyed it or seen something you weren't sure about, something that you thought, oh, that's absolutely lovely. And I will be back very soon with another video. There we are. Look at that. Lovely. Bye.